Hi everyone, welcome to Make a Difference podcast. Madpod Studios, we're here back again live, and I promised you guys we're going to have an exclusive time with very special people. Today we have a very honored guest in the house, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are once again with...
Hi everyone, I am Dr. Anaiya Reliford and I am an atmospheric scientist. I work in the AI and machine learning domain where I am using these methods to make the air and space platforms more autonomous.
Awesome. So you heard that, right? We ain't joking, we ain't playing. I told you guys that every single time Madpod Talks comes live, you guys have to sign on to our podcast, Madpod Studios _, and listen to each and every one of them. So let's start.
So we dropping gems today.
Yes, we are. So, Doc, tell us a little bit more about yourself. I did get the intro, but I want my audience to understand that didn't come just easy to become a doctor, did it?
No, it did not.
I can tell. So, how was the journey like? Where did you start from? Did you ever face any experience hurdles? I mean, I know you're probably obviously from a different part of the world, but I think the experience is pretty much the same when it comes to determination.
Yeah.
And so I believe that with what we have today, you'll be able to explain to us a little bit more about how your journey went like.
Yeah, I think the D in doctor needs to stand for determination, because without it, I don't know how you'll make it. But seriously, I am originally from California. I ended up going to Howard University on an academic scholarship where I pursued chemical engineering. I went on to get a master's in chemical engineering. And at this point, there was some confusion on what I wanted to do with my career. And I had a mentor who introduced me to atmospheric sciences. I did not know what atmospheric sciences was at the time, but I knew that I wanted to earn my PhD in something that will get me closer to obtaining my dream of becoming an astronaut. So once I've done some research into atmospheric sciences, I enrolled in the program, and it was not easy at all. It was not. Yeah. I would say obtaining my PhD was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
And it's hard for many reasons. One is the curriculum. Again, I didn't even know what atmospheric sciences was, but at the time I was an engineer. So in my mind, I can figure anything out, and I operate my life that way. I look at everything as a problem that can be solved. And the curriculum was challenging. At this time, we were going through the pandemic. So all of the challenges that go along with that occurred, on top of the fact that I am the first person in my family to ever acquire an advanced degree. So my master's, I was the first to do that, and then my doctorate, I'm the only one in my family to do that.
Yeah, big breakthrough.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I had my older sister, she had earned her bachelor's degree from an HBCU at Virginia State. So I went on to Howard, which is the HBCU, the Mecca, okay? Because if you're going to go to HBCU, you might as well go to the top. But so I did have that experience from her. However, being in grad school, I didn't have much guidance. And my family didn't even understand what I was talking about. It was like I was speaking a foreign language to them, so I didn't have the familial support. So building that support system through graduate program where everybody is going through the turmoil of the program themselves, and you really don't have much of a social life, but you need a social life because your mental health, and it's just so many things that you're balancing. But it was definitely the hardest thing that I've ever gone through in my life. But I won't stop there because I think it's one of the most rewarding.
Wow. You heard that? It's one of the most rewarding things.
Absolutely. Because nothing good in life comes easy. Nothing.
We appreciate you so much for telling us this, because I think we are in a time and a place where everybody wants to kind of get things quickly. People want to get things on the fast, on the highway. But you made that point so clear, and it may sound so simple, that nothing good comes that easy.
No.
So tell us, Now that you're here in Ghana, a very big welcome to that. What have you experienced? Tell us about the very times you. Well, first of all, how many times have you actually been in Ghana? I think that's the first thing I need to ask you.
I have been to Ghana 3 times, and the 4th is already planned.
Wow, that's amazing.
Within a year, might I add. I 3 times within a year.
I guess you're already Ghanaian then.
Am I? I'll take it.
Great, awesome. And with the time that you've been in Ghana, tell us a little bit about your experience.
So I first came to Ghana because of Dirty December.
Ooh.
And I had a time.
Somebody was partying.
A time. Polo Beach Club. Yeah.
That's a big shout out to Polo Beach Club. You heard?
They didn't pay me for endorsements.
Anyways.
So maybe we'll work on that.
Yeah.
No, but I had a grand time. Not only was it a clubbing experience, because y'all know how to party out here.
Right.
I mean, I didn't leave the club till 6 a.m. and thought I was going to bed, and they was like, no, it's another spot. I said, oh, okay. I didn't come way across the world to go to bed, did I?
Right.
But not only did I receive that, I received a cultural experience, and it's cultural from the standpoint of learning traditions and learning how things happen in Ghana. It's something we lack as Black Americans. But through that, I've also met some incredible people and made some really great connections.
That's amazing.
You see, I was struggling to find a word, and great is just a surface level word to explain the gravity of the connections that I made, because these connections were not just personal, they've been professional, and it's just been incredible. And that's what keeps me coming back, really, the connections to the people, because Ghanaians are wonderful people.
Thank you for saying that, because Africa is big. We've got a lot of brothers and borders all around us, but Ghana is definitely a very special country.
I take Akwaba to heart. I do feel welcome.
Well, that Akwaba was well said. But I want to just pick on a little bit of the cultural part. Like you said, a lot of Black Americans don't really. I mean, I'm sure you learn it in your schools and you probably read about it, but the experience itself, being physically down here, and identifying yourself as a part of us and a part of our history and a part of our culture. What was the depth for you? How did it feel like? I think you can get where I'm coming from. How did it feel like to actually immerse yourself that deep?
I really felt a transformative energy when I came to Ghana and went through the cultural ceremonies. Now, I've been to Africa many times before I came to Ghana last December. And every country has its own kind of vibe to it, its own energy. But this was the first time being here in Ghana that I went and fully immersed myself into the cultural ceremony piece, and it was just absolutely surreal. It's something that I'm really struggling to find a singular word to describe. But it was definitely, it made me feel like I belong somewhere. And you made a comment that we may have read about Africa, or even seen some movies and things about it, or learned it in school, I think is what you said, actually. And I really didn't learn much about Africa until I went to my HBCU, and as part of being an HBCU student, you have to take an African American Studies class. And that's where we start to learn what the diaspora actually is. And that's when we start to build that connection to Africa.
Right.
So coming from California, which is even further than where I currently am in DC, yeah, I'm going to represent the West every time. Nice. But we were not exposed to African American history in the depth that I think that we could have been, and we had a lot of African American history that happened in California. But you take that and then try to connect it back to Africa, that just was not a connection that was made. So I didn't get that experience until college. which is unfortunate.
Very,
really.
very.
It's
I
unfortunate.
agree. Yeah.
Because I think about those who don't go to college and those who don't attend an HBCU. And when I say those, I'm specifically speaking about Black Americans who don't attend these spaces where they can learn to love themselves in a different way that connects them to the diaspora so that they understand the connection to Africa. Because when we don't have that exposure, we look at it as the motherland is just some out of this world thing that we may never be able to touch or feel or even meet people who come from the motherland.
Right.
So
great.
I said a lot of words.
Yeah, but then I have a little bit of information I need to clarify. So I wanted to understand, did you just decide to wake up one day and then just travel to Ghana, or did you probably, I know a lot of travel agencies are doing a great job, but I would really love to know, was it you, was it a travel agency, and where exactly did you start from? Which specific place here in Ghana did you experience this cultural, feeling or vibe?
Okay, so I'll go to the beginning. So I did not travel to Ghana on my own. I actually came with my sister and we went through a group, and I might butcher the name, but I can spell it. But we'll drop that down in the description, that there was actually a travel group, and I met this travel group as a result of my connections to HBCUs. So there was someone who was hosting a trip for exactly this reason, to try to bridge the gap between the diaspora. And I called my sister and I said, hey, we were looking on TikTok, but we wanted to go to Delhi December. Now we have an opportunity with someone who's from there, who's cultivating a whole experience for us. So we did actually go through a travel group. And when we first got to Ghana, we were in my favorite part so far, and I could be biased because it's the first place that I went, but we were in East Legon.
Wow.
So we started there, and we had a whole well thought out itinerary where we were able to go to Cape Coast. We came up to Accra Pong, and that's really where the ceremony took place. So we were not only just partying, of course, because we were here for New Year's Eve, but we seen a lot of Ghana.
Yes, I'm actually more curious about Accra Pong because Accra Pong is a very it's a special place. It's let me see, the capital of the Ikuapem Ridge, and sometimes we actually call that part of Eastern region Small London, simply because of how high the weather is, and it's pretty chill. It's got a nice feeling, and there's a lot of history in Accra Pong. And I think there's one predominant travel group called in Kabum.
Yes,
I'm sure that's probably the group we're talking about.
Oh wow! Yes, that is the one.
Yeah, because I know very well that they have done so much to represent our culture everywhere, not just in America, but in every part of the world, as far as we can go.
I saw that. I see that they do that.
Yeah, right.
And I had an incredible experience with them. I'm sorry that I couldn't pronounce the name. But you knew exactly what I was talking about just based on how I described it. That's how incredible the travel group is. Yes. And I will say this, because we talked about HBCUs. One of the organizers...
When you say HBCUs, for the purpose of our viewers... I know what it means, but I really wish our viewers could understand.
Oh, I gotta put y'all on game. Yeah. A HBCU is a historically Black college or university.
Right.
And there are just over 100 HBCUs that are accredited in the United States.
Right.
And these universities and colleges were created because they were specifically for Black Americans who were not able to go to predominantly white institutions.
So you heard of...
HBCUs is where it's at. It's made for us.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to always target institutions that would, I don't want to say the word. There are HBCU everywhere.
Yes, there are HBCUs, and I told you I had been to other parts of Africa. I actually been to South Africa, where I went to an MSI, which is I think what is it? I might butcher this, but minority serving institution, or it's an acronym that's closely related to HBCUs, but for South Africa. And so that was what really opened my eyes to the fact that there is still a need in Africa. it as a whole. So I will also add that at Howard, we get a lot of exposure of the diaspora as well. So not only did I start to learn more about Africa through my African American Studies courses, but being in classes with the different types of Black people. Being Black is not a monolith, and that's what I learned by being at Howard. I met so many people from the continent, so many people from the Caribbean, different parts. So yes, HBCUs are not just for Black Americans.
Amazing. This is great. This is really great. Now, I'm going to be a little bit quick on this one, but I just want to scale a little bit faster on one particular thing. Our system here in Ghana, I'm specifically talking about Ghana, somehow enables women, but the reality kicks in when they realize that they're done with university, and then they are trying to figure out, okay, where do I go to next? Why do I say this? If you look around, just again, places like up the mountains and in Accra, in the Ashanti region, there are so many high schools, and then we also have a lot of female high schools, like in the Kapimris, they have Ibri Girls, and then they have some other ones too. But that's what I'm saying. Our system does so well to prep them to the point of where they're able to go to university. We do have our limitations as a country because we are still a developing country. And then the practicalities of understanding what theory is, and then applying that to the real practical world actually becomes a little bit difficult. But this is the point I'm trying to rush us into. What happens after university for people who are less privileged, who didn't have it like you had an opportunity? There are girls out there who are determined. There are some who are unfortunately not sure where they want to be, so they just kind of like back off completely. What message can you push to remind them that you never gave up? And maybe you can also give a little bit of a highlight as to what they should probably try to do to progress. Yeah.
Okay, so you brought up another important word that we used earlier, and I said the D in doctorate should stand for determination.
Right.
I know that there's many girls out here who are determined and unfortunately don't have access to certain opportunities, but I don't think that should deter them. One of the things that I will push to them is to create some opportunities. And the way that you do that is to leverage the resources that are available to you. And the one I'm going to highlight is free for most people. I won't say everyone because of certain limitations, but the internet will get you access to a lot of things. So, for example, I came to Ghana because I found someone on the internet, and now we're having this conversation. And now we're on this podcast that's on the internet that will have my contact information.
Exactly.
So the internet is free for most, like I would say. But there's some other points that I want to touch on that you mentioned. The theory and practicality.
Right.
That's a huge one. I am a STEM girly, science and engineering, and the difference between theory and practicality makes a huge difference into your success for the future. So one of the things that I actually have done, because I saw that there was a need here in introducing girls to the practical aspect of engineering, is creating curriculum so that they can divulge themselves into hands-on opportunities.
Right.
And it's important for me because I learned through what is actually considered privilege of being able to go to graduate school, having internships and hands-on experiences, is that I failed a lot. Like, more than I can count on.
You heard that, right? She said she failed a lot. You heard that.
I failed. I mean, a laughable amount of times.
There you go.
However, I will say that failure was the most productive thing I could have ever done versus doing nothing because I failed. Right. I learned so much through failure. And what I also learned through my PhD was that you have to prove something multiple times. Otherwise, it's just luck. And you're going to fail 100 times more than you're going to succeed. But when you do finally succeed, that success is going to be, it's going to take you very far.
Far.
So if to these young girls that are at the point of maybe they just finished their bachelor's degree and they don't know what to do everything, because you really don't know what you don't like until you try it.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did.
Right.
I had one goal in mind, and that was to become an astronaut. I didn't know how I was going to get there. It seemed impossible to everyone I explained it to. I had some folks literally laugh at the idea, because it's like, what do you mean you're going to be an astronaut? It sounds insane, right?
Right.
But it's actually not. It's really not, because I was so determined to prove some people wrong. I had to remove some people from my life because I really thought I could look up to them, but they didn't believe in what I believed in.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you this. You cannot show your vision to the blind. If they don't believe it, don't force them, because you believe it.
Right.
And if you were able to dream it, that means you have everything inside of you to make it happen.
Right.
And sometimes you just need some clarity. And to obtain that clarity, you have to keep pushing. If you don't keep pushing, you won't get that failure so that you can iterate your process. You don't know what to change. So it's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. And the people who says that it gets easier, that's not true. It doesn't get easier. You get more resilient.
Right.
You get more clarity. You get more confidence.
I agree.
Because you're getting more consistent.
I agree.
You're getting more results.
I agree.
So you're knowing what's working and what's not working.
That is true.
Life is truly an experiment, excuse me. A real experiment. Now, I am a STEM girl, so that's how I see it. Nobody has a blueprint for this.
Right.
So it's really a science experiment.
Yeah.
At the root of it. And you have some independent and dependent variables.
True.
Now I'm talking to the STEM girls.
Yeah.
Y'all follow along now, okay? In life, you have some independent and dependent variables, and you control your independence, right? The independent is you. The dependent variables is everybody else around you and all your circumstances.
True.
So you get to decide what factors in your life that you can actually control so that they can contribute to your system of success.
Yes.
And I'm going to stop and pause right here, because I want y'all to hear me when I say your system of success. If you do not have a system, you cannot be successful.
You heard her.
A system. I could spend a lot of time on that one, but I'm gonna let you.
Awesome.
Let that marinate.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So let's look at this side of the picture too. What about business? You know, when it comes to business itself, a lot of people think that because you are a little bit into maybe you're coming from a science background or you're STEM girly, like you mentioned. I feel like it doesn't have a limitation to you maybe diverse it, or should I say, trying your hands on something else. So I want to see your perspective when it comes to business. Do you have any businesses that you are doing or currently running? And does it mean that when you have a career like yours, you can't enter into any type of business?
Absolutely not. That is not what that means.
Well, I figured that out clearly.
Well, that's a great segue from my system of success, because I do have a couple of businesses actually.
Right.
And the reason that these businesses happen is because what you develop while you're going through school and through life in general is called transferable skills.
True.
So while I am a STEM girly, I've created a STEM business.
Right.
And within that STEM business, I'm not just doing STEM, I'm doing a whole bunch of other things. So what my business is called Orbit of Opportunity. And it's where I created a mentorship program for young students that look like me. I'm just going to be candid. It was made for us, okay?
Right.
It was made for us, but I created a program where I'm building curriculums for hands-on experiments, which are creating these opportunities to bridge the gap between theory and practicality. Right. A lot of us miss out on that opportunity, which lands them into future opportunities with bigger corporations. Right. So my business was to fill that gap. and I used my skills that I learned as an expert in atmospheric sciences and chemical engineering. I applied that to the curriculum to develop these hands-on experiences, and I used what I learned in my internship experiences working with bigger agencies and corporations to learn how to manage and create a business structure. So you take everything that you know, everything that you complain about. If you hate the way something is going, instead of just complaining about it, do something about it, and you learn from that. I'm a big advocate for learning from other people's mistakes. So if I've been a part of a program that I didn't like, well, we're going to look at what I did like, what I know how to do, and what I didn't like, and how I could do it better, and boom, business opportunity. So I think that everything should be looked at as an opportunity for excellence. Excellence.
Interesting. Well, that is a very, very good approach to look at things. Being a man, obviously we assume that being a man, you have to, do much more to provide. So we always find ourselves as capable of doing alternative things outside just trying to be a nice STEM girly.
Well, I'm gonna pause you because the girls know how to juggle.
Oh,
we're multi-talented.
Wow.
That I think that comes innately as a woman.
I agree.
I don't think that if these young girls are STEM girlies like me, you don't have to be 100% focused on just your STEM education. While you're earning your education and going through those journeys, you're learning various skills, and you already come to the program with your various skills. That's what makes you unique. So if you are a stylist, you do hair, you do nails, makeup, you make clothes, you're a creative.
Exactly.
You're already a creative, and that's something that's missing in the STEM industry. And we need you because you can think on problems abstractly. So that in itself is an opportunity for intersectionality, and intersectionality is an opportunity for business.
Exactly.
So juggle all of your talents, merge them together, and create something beautiful, because it doesn't exist. That's why we're needed in these spaces.
True. This is so true. And that even brings me to my next point, or should I say my next topic. And this is a very interesting topic because now we're in a space where everybody hears about, technology, and then the first thing that comes to mind is artificial intelligence. And I ask myself, okay,
buzzword.
Yeah, I mean, why am I hearing AI everywhere I go? But truth be told, AI is here to stay, and it looks like only a few people seem to really understand what it takes to adopt AI and make it as something productive in their lives. Now, I know you are a drone specialist. Actually, when it comes to the subject matter of drones, you are at the very top. And it's a bit, surprising to see a woman, because when it comes to drones, you normally see men in that space. But tell us a little bit about this whole AI industry, and then the drones for our tech girlies out there, or STEM girlies out there, and those who are probably still coming and trying to figure out, how do I get into this space?
So let me tell you something about me. I've come to cause disruption wherever I go.
Somebody's going to be disruptive. Yeah,
absolutely. I work in STEM. That is a predominantly old white male industry. I don't look like an old white male now, do I?
No.
I came to shake it up.
No, you do not.
I do not.
You do not.
I came to shake it up. So I'll provide some background. So as I was earning my PhD in atmospheric sciences, I became a licensed drone pilot with the FAA, and I was doing some research on how we can use quadcopters to do air quality monitoring.
Wow.
So I was looking at the quantifying PM 2.5, which is a microscopic dust that when you inhale, it causes adverse health effects.
Well, that's scary.
So especially in Africa, and I can talk a lot about this because we know the African dust, that was part of my research as well. But there's an opportunity here to continue that research.
Great.
But that is how I started off with an introduction to drone. Well, honestly, not really an introduction to drones, because when I was younger, I always used to play with like remote control cars and helicopters.
So that's where it all started.
So it kind of started from a young age, and then it was like a aha moment when I got into my PhD program, and it was like, okay, this is the work I'm going to do. And being from California, it's a lot of wildfires, so the health effects of the wildfires was something that was personal to me. Right. So that's how my research started, and it led into the drone work. Excellent. That then led into some more work that I'm now doing with the Department of Defense, because they work a lot with drone technology. And with my aspirations to become an astronaut, I am also a space enthusiast. So now I work in the air and space domain. And I use your favorite buzzword almost every day, AI. And a lot of people have mixed feelings about AI. I am an advocate for it. Now, it's one of the things that I touched on earlier in this talk about using your free resources like the internet. Now you have AI at your disposal, and AI is here to stay, as you mentioned. Definitely. You can almost look at it as a new technological revolution, just how we had the industrial revolution with cars. But now we have a technological revolution with AI, machine learning. And newsflash, AI is not a new thing. AI is just now a popular thing, but it's not a new thing. So these mixed feelings that people have, it's coming as a result of the popularity of AI and its accessibility. So I would tell the girls, because I'm talking to the girls.
Ladies.
I'm a girl's girl. I would tell the girls.
The boys make you no vex. So
I mean, the boys can learn.
The boys make you no vex. Your time will come. We will sort you out. But today, exclusive
it's
for the
about the girls. I'm here for the girls. Learn AI is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And when I say learn AI, I'm really saying to learn the programming. Because you cannot be replaced by AI if you know how to train and build the AI. That's what you need to understand. And there is a difference between AI and machine learning that a lot of people don't get. And machine learning is a sub portion of AI. You have to be able to work with a model, train a model, and that is the machine learning. That's really where you want to get into, because that is the irreplaceable part of the technology. Yes,
and for our listeners, if you're really trying to grasp what she's trying to say in simple words, all she's saying is you can use AI for so many things.
You can.
But for those of you who are looking at careers in AI, you need to be the one building the AI. It's as simple as that.
You don't need to be a consumer.
Yes.
You can't just be a consumer.
Exactly.
You need to understand it. You need to know what AI is, not just from the user perspective, but where did it come from? How does it work? What are the ins and outs of it? What are the results of using AI? When you feed it information, what type of AI is that? Is that generative AI? Is it what kind of I could get deep into it. What kind of models is it using? When you're generating an image, is it using convolutional neural networks? That's CNNs. Is it using, so it can get very technical, but that's the point. You should be able to understand this jargon that I'm using. And that's the type of technique and skill that you need to have to make sure that you're not being replaced by the AI, which is what a lot of people are afraid of.
Excellent. So you see, AI is nothing scary, but
it's not.
There's room, and there's so much room for young women.
There is, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you off here because it's something I'm very passionate about. So as we are using this AI, and I'm gonna keep it very simple with the one that most people use, which is ChatGPT, right? When you feed into information into ChatGPT expecting a response, first off, that is a form of generative AI. And AI is backed by what is called a large language model, which is how it's reading all of this information in order for you to receive some type of response. So if you would like a culturally aware response, you would need a culturally aware large language model. But currently, as it stands, we don't have a lot of cultural representation in the building of these large language models. So that is an avenue right there for the girlies that look like me and the boys that look like you
True.
to get involved, because it takes us, really. I'm talking to the girls because I am a girl,
right.
But it really takes us,
right.
And we're really joined in this effort.
Right, I agree. And that is very true. At the end of the day, we need to be able to unite as a people, as one big cultural backbone.
Because have you tried to translate tweet in ChatGPT?
No,
that ain't happening. That is not happening.
I personally have run some voice TTS models, which are AI powered models.
Text-to-speech.
Yeah, text-to-speech. And you can get like nearly every language apart from pretty much
African
dialects. Yeah, you might get a little bit of Hausa in there. You might get a little bit of Afrikaners and some Swahili, because those languages are actually very well structured. But apart from that, everything else is just, it's just not there.
So that's a limitation.
And that is a limitation.
A huge one.
And then there are times where you're actually using these large language models, and you can ask them questions about your country, your culture, and
it'll be loud and wrong.
And it will be pretty loud and wrong. So you are right. We need to be able to build our own governance and our own systems and backbone infrastructure in terms of building our own large language models, or macro or small large language models for specific targeted purposes, and have a voice, just like how now all the superpowers are rushing to be the first in what they call super intelligence or AGI or whatever.
Super intelligence is the highest form of AI that would represent a human life form. And actually what they're trying to explain super intelligence as is they can outperform a human in terms of how they think, how they move. We already know robots they don't get tired. So that's obvious. But the thinking, the logic, the emotional piece behind that, what makes humans, that's what super intelligence is trying to become. So if we want super intelligence, because that's the current race, if we're not part of that effort to create that, the super intelligence is not going to be Black intelligence.
Exactly.
Black American intelligence, African intelligence, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be Black, period. If we are not part of that effort, if we're not even joining in this conversation. So it starts at that very small level of understanding machine learning. And we talked a lot about large language models, but that is not the extent to which AI goes. It can go well beyond that. Way I mean, like I mentioned, I use AI and I'm implementing that in space platforms. So that's another form. So you can bridge
when you
the
talk
gap.
about space, you're talking about constellations of satellites.
Yes, I'm talking about constellations. I'm talking about satellites.
She's a big one, guys. She's a big one. Yeah.
I'm talking about we're decommissioning the International Space Station, and we're trying to make a lunar station, which is a station on Mars or on the moon before we get to Mars. And that is going to incorporate some AI in that, and I'm part of that effort as well. But that I'm saying that as a means to show you that AI is not just you sitting on ChatGPT, Gemini, asking it questions. AI can be embedded into physical systems, and that's where the engineering comes in. And I think this is going to segue me into a whole nother component about how my experiences have led to this, because I started off as a chemical engineer wanting to go to space. And then I went into atmospheric sciences, and now I work on space platforms. That path was not laid out for me. I figured that out along the way. And you know what I followed? The hottest technology. That's why I work in AI now, because AI is the hottest technology, and that is going to take you far. And that's one of the things you're going to use your free resource of the internet to figure out what's trending, what's hot, and follow that, because you will never be out of a job.
So don't sit down. Don't just listen. You got to start from somewhere.
You do.
And I want you guys to look at how we started the talk show and how we've escalated into in-depth knowledge. That's how quick things can move. If you take your time to really embrace these conversations, remember, you will be in the next big place in your life. So remember to subscribe to Madpod Studios _. This is how we do it. This is how we get it on. And today we're here with Dr.
Anaiya Reliford. You can find me on LinkedIn with my government name. and my business, Orbit of Opportunity.
Great. Now, just before we wrap up this talk, I just want to ask a couple of questions. What can we do together? What can we do together in the sense of what can your experience and Madpod Studios and all our listeners out there who are seeking to have an opportunity to be with you, to be in your space and understand how best you can probably work alongside with whatever they may be working on. What do you think we can do together? Or is there a platform? Is there a way? Because obviously this is the platform, but then I believe that you have a website that they can reach out to. But then again, we want to know.
So, yeah, I actually have an opportunity through my business, Orbit of Opportunity. And I spoke very much on bridging the gap between theory and practicality, and that's what my business platform is. And what I am proposing is that we bring my curriculum here so that these young kids can gain that access to a practical experience.
So when you say young kids, what are we looking at? So we have senior high, we have junior high, and then we have university. So we have secondary. So we have junior, we have secondary, so secondary is basically senior high school. And then we have tertiary, which is the universities, the colleges, and then the teacher training institutions as well. So, and then we also have some polytechnics as well, but I think a lot of them have been converted into universities, technical universities. So I believe that you must be talking from senior high to tertiary.
Well, I have opportunities for multiple levels.
Okay.
Through my business structure.
So that's why we need a clarification. So
yes, I have opportunities for multiple levels. My hands-on projects, they start with, I believe, the junior high. Right. Those hands-on projects start there. But then I have a pipeline where I can reach out to the secondary and the tertiary students so that we can continue to engage in meaningful conversations, and we can create a pipeline program for the junior high all the way up to tertiary. So I have a curriculum where that is taking place in the United States, but it's something that I would be open to discussing further here.
Well, we can't wait.
We
can't wait. And as Madpod Studios, we have promised our listeners that we are taking this year by storm, and we're going to make sure that whatever it takes for us to bring in the curriculum and enforce it for those who are interested to seek this opportunity, we want to say a big thank you already.
Yeah, I'll be happy to offer up my drone curriculum course for these students. So we're going to hold that to Madpod Studios.
Thank you.
So that we can make this collaboration happen. And hopefully the next time you see me on this podcast, it'll be with a group of students who learn how to build their own drones.
Awesome. And I want to understand how does it all happen? Is it going to happen over a period of, is this curriculum going to be like a 3-month curriculum thing or 4-month curriculum thing? Is it going to be, just a duration, just to let people have an idea how long it's going to take them to actually get somewhere?
Well, Madpod Studios really wants to be involved because you're asking all the right questions.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And I think that is something that we can definitely take into consideration in an offline conversation. Right. But for the listeners, I want you to know that this is not a one-day type of curriculum.
Exactly.
This is a multi-week curriculum, and there are several add-ons that can be made in addition to set curriculum, so we can figure out what works best with the student schedules and get a curriculum that is meaningful. Awesome. And again, it's the hands-on experience along with mentorship. So it will not be a 1-day, 2-day. Right. It'll definitely be a several-week commitment.
Right. Well, guys, this is amazing. And we're going to bring more and more and more of these talks. But just to wrap up, we just want to inform you guys that the very travel agency that she experienced
the name again, say
in Kabul,
In Kabul.
In Kabul.
In Kabul.
Yes,
yeah,
in
that
Kabul,
is the
in
one.
Kabul is let's come together and be one people. Let's come together as one. So in
that
Kabul,
is what it was.
Right.
Now I'm remembering.
Right. So this October and December, in Kabul is doing another wonderful event.
I know they are because I'll be back on the December trip.
So you heard that?
I mean, it was that wonderful. I'm coming back.
Right. So we're going to drop the flyers on our social media handles. So you guys should look out for it. Make sure you know what to do. You've got to, come and like our videos. Come and like our videos, repost them, make noise about them, and let's get this thing going on. I want to thank Doc. We want to say a very big thank you, and we hope that you come back again. In December, we'll be expecting you right here on this show. This time around, we will have some updates for you on the curriculum. We will have to
have some updates because I just promised the listeners that when you see me again, we're going to have a curriculum. So thank you for having me. This was awesome. And when you see me back here in December, we'll see some updates.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anaiya Reliford.
Thank you.
So remember to subscribe. Madpod Studios _ Madpod Studios _ Do not make a mistake to not like this video. This is not just the beginning. This is going to be exciting. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I wish you a very nice evening. Bye.